While only a dozen or so trailers were destroyed, virtually all in this park were affected in one way or another by flying debris. Shingles and drywall are everywhere. And personal belongings. There were flying Christmas ornaments and a Johnny Mathis tape. What's amazing is exactly how the tornado carved its path. Look one way and there's no damage at all, but a turn of the head reveals the extent of the devastation.
I mean, the only thing I have left to put together is, is memories, pictures. That's the only thing I have that's left in there that I'm hoping some of them I can get out of the house.
And he has his life. Like all of those living in this park, David miraculously escaped with it. While there were no deaths here, there are 4 confirmed injuries. 2 were of young boys who were hit with glass and flying debris, but I'm told everyone is doing okay here tonight. The biggest problem folks have to deal with is this. Police have blocked off the area leading to the rear of the trailer park where the damage was the worst. Folks are being asked to show their identification to enter the park. No vehicles are being allowed back into the park. And so a lot of folks frustrated, very frustrated this evening. All power and gas also has been turned off in the rear of the park as a precaution, because I am told all gas leaks that occurred earlier have been taken care of and there are no more problems with gas. The one problem folks are worried about out here tonight, and police say they are doing their best to control the possibility of what is happening in Hamtramck, of looting. They have mounted police on the perimeter of this park. They have heavy security inside of this park. I just talked with the sheriff, and he says they will be out here all night long to make sure there is no looting and there is no problems here tonight. Reporting live from Washington Township, Laurel Hess, Night Beat.
All right, Laurel, and in fact, you mentioned the problems that they had in Hamtramck. Let's take a closer look at that. One of the biggest concerns that we had, because this was one of the earliest reports that came out, it didn't take any time at all, it seemed. The storm had moved past Hamtramck, and we were hearing reports of looting. Tony Fama has that report.
People did loot from you.
Yep. They took money from my sister, cigarette, whatever they found. They took a lot of things. My store is open wide. You see, like you see it.
Now, you say they took money. Do you know how much?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't touch nothing. They took the whole lottery. The whole about $5,000-6,000 in ticket, lottery ticket.
$5,000 to $6,000 in lottery tickets they took?
Yeah, about at least 15 book. 15 book of $500, $400, $300 each book. They ruined.
And what did they take from this window?
Like I told you, I have 4,000 items in there. Maybe at least 1,000 items in here. The expensive thing to spare for the people to see what we have inside. That's the exhibition.
You are insured.
I am insured. But it hurts when you see like your store like this.
What do you do now?
Well, I don't know what to do really. To tell you what to do. I don't know why you have to call the people to close the store at least, and see what we can do tomorrow.
Tony Fama reporting from Hamtramck. We'll hope that it is a better rest of the night now. One of the other big problems that we've got all over the area is this road closure and traffic problem. We've got police officers begging us to explain where the road closures are. The trouble is, in the most affected areas, there's no power. So those people aren't going to be able to get the information anyway. And unfortunately, we're probably going to deal with traffic tie-ups on a lot of these streets and secondary roads right on through the night into tomorrow morning. Over my shoulder, occasionally, I think you can see a couple of pops of lightning. The last remnants of this storm that has now moved on into Ontario. We'll hope it's a little kinder there. But for us, the worst storm in Detroit in many, many years. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to take a closer look here at how it all stacks up historically. Also, we'll take a closer look at the power outage problem. Much more to come on an extended edition of the Night Beat when we come back.
You're watching Channel 4 WDIV, and this is the Night Beat now, where local news comes first.
Of death and destruction. The storm produced heavy rain, hail, heavy wind, and tornadoes in many areas, stretching from Holly to Grosse Pointe. Homes are demolished, businesses damaged, and lives lost. Tonight, the metro area is suffering from the killer storms of '97. With storms this deadly and damaging, the only thing that can make matters worse is having no electricity. And of course, power lines are down everywhere, and crews are already out trying to get the lights back on. The Night Beat's Rod Meloni is here with the latest on the power outages. Rod?
Well, Carmen, the numbers are getting very serious now. Nearly 250,000 Detroit Edison customers in the Tri-County area are without power tonight. That's up from the initial reports of about 100,000, and the chances are those numbers will go up. Now, half of those are in Wayne County. Hardest hit are Highland Park and Hamtramck. Detroit Edison tonight tells us that it could take until Friday night to get even 95% of the customers' lights back on again. You may recall the ice storm that we had over this past winter. It took almost a week for many people to get their lights back. Now, joining us now on the telephone is Mary Kay Bean of Detroit Edison. And Mary Kay, tell us about the crew situation. How many of them are out there, and where are they coming in from tonight?
We have thousands of Detroit Edison employees who are out working on the service restoration effort tonight, and we are contacting utilities and contract companies in other states to ask them if they could send us some crews to help us with that restoration effort. Now,
I understand that earlier this evening you put out a call to anybody who is trained at all in repairing lines to come in tomorrow?
We have asked that all 3,000 Detroit Edison employees who have been trained in public safety duty but did not work throughout the night, that they come in to report to work in the morning prepared for public safety assignments in the field.
Okay, now we just reported 250,000 or just about that number. Is that number there, or have we got an update on that one?
It's about 220,000 customers, and that would be throughout southeastern Michigan.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mary Bean from Detroit Edison. Now, if you're watching us on a battery-powered television set or know someone without lights and they aren't sure whether Detroit Edison knows about their outage, this is the number you should call. It's 1-800-477-4747. Again, that's 1-800-477-4747. Now, also tonight, just south of us in Jackson County and north of us in Genesee County, about 10,000 Consumers Energy customers are without power. They expect to clear those outages out in the next day or so as well. Carmen?
All right, Rod, and today's storms are some of the worst in Michigan history, and Chuck, even you've said it's the worst that you've seen probably in your career.
Oh, I think so. I've chased tornadoes, I've flown through hurricanes, and I've gone in behind these things, and the devastation tonight is unbelievable, and it's so widespread. But what I would like to do now is to put this into some perspective for you, because there are a lot of tornadoes and a lot of outbreaks of severe weather that one will recall over the course of time. Let me take you back to 1976. This is March 20th, the West Bloomfield tornado. This was Maple and Orchard Lake Road. Because of this tornado, Oakland County initiated a county-wide siren system, and thank goodness they did, over 20 years ago, and that, of course, could have well saved some lives today. Now we move up to Kalamazoo, May 13th, 1980. This is a tornado that hit cities. This one moved right through downtown Kalamazoo. I mean, this one moved right down Main Street, again, proving that tornadoes hit big cities. September 14th, 1990, Novi. This was a tornado that skipped all across southern Oakland County, and Novi was hard hit in this one, and it was a big problem for that city. We continue to move along now in our historical perspective of thunderstorms and tornadoes. Rochester. This is Rochester, Michigan, July 7th of 1991. This was a wave of severe thunderstorms. You're looking at the west side of the state now coming home to Rochester that moved all across our state. Nearly 1 million people were without power because of that outbreak of storms. And of course, all too close to home, one of the biggest tourist attractions that we have in the southern part of the state, Frankenmuth. This one occurred June 24th, 1996. This was a wave of thunderstorms that skipped across Michigan, and there was a tornado in Frankenmuth that was rated F4, Carmen, on the scale. It's a Fujita scale. These were home video pictures of it. 5 is the worst tornado you can have. This one was classified as an F4, and of course we know that that city's been put back together, and thank goodness. Today it was Erie when the warnings were first coming out. One of the first cities referenced in the bulletins from the National Weather Service was Frankenmuth.
You know, we heard one gentleman say that he had always wanted to see a tornado. He saw one today, and he said he doesn't have to see any more in his life. And you said that this line of storms stretched from the UP all the way down to southeastern
All the way
Michigan?
down, almost into Indiana at one point. There was a break in that line, but this was the damaging tail end of that line. And again, all the conditions were right. The temperature was high. The wind conditions were there. And as you well know by stepping out the door, the humidity was very high, and that was a key component today. And this was much like the South. I worked there for several years, and this was almost a monthly occurrence down south. We hear about these things all the time in the news, but it's always somewhere else. Today it was here.
Oh, boy. All right, thank you, Chuck. The worst storm many can remember in years. Stay with us. We've got more killer storm coverage coming up after this.